So Derek DROUIN has won gold in the high jump. And why did that happen? Well, the same reason everything happens, for the glory of the Triune God. 3 persons in one, God the Father, Jesus Christ the Son, and the Holy Ghost. And the winning jump was a jump off between 3 guys who were tied, dead even the whole way through. They all went clean jumping right until 236, whence they all had 3 failed attempts. They bring the bar back down to 234, which is a very perfect famous number. By way of review, gold sun plus silver moon equals 234, which is very special because it's love plus love plus love plus triple eight plus triple eight plus triple eight. And so Derek DROUIN then with DROUIN on his chest, which equals love plus half a love, leaps 2.34, 234, okay? Triple love plus a triple of triple eights to the glory of the Triune God, and Jesus equals 888, and he takes home the gold medal. Done. It's that simple. That's why it happens. Everything is by God, for God, from God. Every achievement, every detail, every centimeter, every atom is exactly playing out the way it's supposed to be for the glory of the Trinity. If you think for a second that this story is about you and your name and your money and your accomplishments, you are heartily deceived. Watch all my videos and understand what this story is into which you were born. Okay, so his name is DROUIN. Okay, in large capital letters, his last name is DROUIN. On his chest, competing for Canada, which is 24 AAA, sponsored by Nike, which is 39, 3 times 13. It's all pure threes. And DROUIN is love plus half a love, R-O-U, our Father who art in heaven, flanked in 18 plus 9. Literally, you've got screaming threes here, but it adds to love plus half a love, 81, 3 to the power of 4. And he clears the plate. Now go into the details. The story is too breathtaking. It finishes in what is called a jump off. Well, jump and off both divide by 3. Jump is 60 equals holy equals word. Off, every letter of the 3 divides by 3. Off is 27, half a love. Jump is 60. A jump off equals 87 perfectly equals truth. So we have a jump off in the high jump between how many men? You guessed it, not 2, not 4, but 3. And what's the height that they perform the jump off at? Well, you guessed it, 2, 3, 4. As in 3. 2, 3, 4 is exceedingly special because it's triple love plus a triple of 24s. 54, 54, 54, 24, 24, 24. By way of review, gold sun plus silver moon is one of thousands of examples, equals 2, 3, 4, equals triple love, plus a triple of triple eights to the glory of Jesus equals 888 in Greek, and the Triune God at large. So, now you can watch the video for yourself. Now that you've got your training wheels on, and you've done the numbers in the post-history books that is God's story, now what you do is you watch the video of this event live on YouTube, and you have your faith and your vision corrected, so that you understand whenever you are watching something live, you're always watching the glory of God playing out perfectly down to the milliseconds, down to the atom. Okay? So that you understand what this story is. It's Jehovah's story. He's 3 persons, and every single human is very, very tiny compared to him. And every single event is very, very tiny compared to him. And he insists that he gets the glory for every single microsecond of world history, which is his story. History has love at the center, S-T-O, flanked in half a love, I-R, flanked in amen, H-Y. Every word you've ever spoken belongs to the Trinity. Okay? So, God uses everything to glorify himself before the trillions of watching angels that never stop saying, holy, holy, holy is Jehovah God Almighty. The whole earth is constantly filled with his glory. So, the high jump, the classic event, and by the way, the famous Olympic phrase, faster, higher, stronger, adds to 240 perfectly. So there you go. More to preach on, but DROUIN wins gold in the high jump. Ordained by heaven in a jump off between 3 men, no less than obvious 3, and I got tons more to preach on. I was just scooping up more gems. I insist on letting the river flow. You'll notice that my videos have so many gems all over the place because there's too much to preach on in every subject under the sun. And that's why sometimes we'll get words and phrases in real time that aren't even related to what we began the video with, but I insist on just letting the river flow. So for example, last night I was led once again to solve words in the English language in the thesaurus by Divine Ordinance. Thesaurus means treasure. Word equals diamond equals 60. Thesaurus in line letters divides by 3 in very obvious fashion. So what I do is I open up to some of my favorite words, like the word beautiful. And I'm literally solving the words in the English language that are in the thesaurus under beautiful. And I have this earmarked here. And it's almost like the glory is so glaring and so abundant in such a small package that we can't even handle it. It's like a laser beam, like the thesaurus is the grand total of it all. So it's like you're just solving literally every single word that you've ever seen that means beautiful. And once you know what God has been up to for the past several thousand years, glorifying the number 3 like crazy, and love in particular, you have to move slowly through this glory, because there's simply so much staring you in the face in such a small package that it's almost impossible to deal with. But let's do one real obvious one. This is a fun one. Why does everyone say this phrase, drop dead gorgeous? Drop dead gorgeous. Why in the world? Why in the story of God did we decide? It's in the dictionary, like it's in the Oxford manual. Drop dead gorgeous. It's because it's mathematically perfect for the Trinity. Drop dead gorgeous. Okay? Every word is +1 front and back, just like the word God and Jesus. The centers of all those words, therefore, adds to 120 exactly, and then the rooks of the chessboard of each word together add to 27 plus 27, which equals love. Drop dead gorgeous. Perfect. And so you can go through every single one of these words and see the beauty of them, and see all the 3's in all of them, and just know that every single word you've ever ordained, you've ever spoken and seen in your life glorifies the Triune God. It's so abundant, it's embarrassing. I'm telling you, it's embarrassing. It's clinically embarrassing that we have morons in our school system that don't even know the Triune God. It's so embarrassing, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know how it's possible that it is this bad. Sometimes I actually cannot believe that I was born into the world that I was born into, with this sheer insane level of ignorance that exists, most of all in educational sectors. It's unbelievable, the darkness of man apart from the grace of God. It's actually unbelievable. You sometimes don't know how you're going to function on this planet, given how enlightened you are and how ignorant everyone else is. God willing, maybe a new generation that is younger than myself will rise up and actually heed my words, and we'll have a real world before long. But here it is. And then you start solving phrases, like the famous phrase, "You are so beautiful," adds to 216, triple eight, tripled, and tripled again. Because if you were born speaking English, God speaks to you in English. Well, God will say that phrase to you, and He insists that it be mathematically perfect to glorify Himself when He does. So it's that simple. The treasure is that abundant. I can't handle the ignorance any longer. And now, current events are very exciting. I'm excited about stuff like this, athletic performances. Everything has numbers attached. And that's why numbers are God's chosen mechanism to take the glory for every single name, every single event, every single achievement in the history of the universe. Because every single achievement in sport is ultimately a number. And every single name that ever achieved something in the story of God is also a number. And people have ages that are numbers. And people have heights that are numbers. And every name of everything that is named in locations, places, coordinates, every single thing in this story is a number. And that is simply the universal mechanism by which the Triune God takes the glory for it all. And no one is aware of this. No one is aware of this. And it seems to be my job to start the awareness of this, and then people that watch my videos can spread them to other people, and we can start spreading the knowledge of God. So we can start to move towards a real planet with real people that understand how their Maker works and how He likes doing things in this story of His, And what is going on with the heavenly angels watching everything down here, so we can have what is called a love-baptized world that is going to heaven rather than to hell, while hating each other and grasping from each other like monkeys with bananas. Are you getting this? Are you understanding how beneficial and important revelation about God is to humanity? It's our salvation. The knowledge of God is our redemption from darkness. So, watch all my videos. We just saw, like another obvious one, we just saw Ashton Eaton break his own world record in the decathlon, going from 9,039 points to 9,045. It all divides by 3. His name divides by 3. The records, the specific performances he had divided by 3 is 45-second flat, 400-meter fastest of any decathlete, a triple of 15s. You can solve all of his performances. Remember, the 10 events of the decathlon add to triple love times 10, meaning the average value of each event is triple love exactly. And his full name, Ashton James Eaton, equals holy, holy, holy. And on and on and on. And when you say 9,045 points, every single word divides by 3. And then we got that divine gem at the very end. Congratulations, Ashton James Eaton adds to 123 triple. Like, it just keeps going higher and higher and higher. So it's embarrassing that no one knows this except myself. It's a clinical embarrassment. So if you're watching this video, thank God that you're in on the truth now, and then forward it on to at least as many people as you can. You have nothing to lose by saying, here, check out this video. God is revealing himself mathematically to people on earth. He's the living God. You must confess him as God before you die, or you go to hell. It's an embarrassment. It's unbelievable how darkened we can be without the Spirit of God. So, there you go. So I was scooping up gems in the thesaurus. Obviously, this is work that can be done by all mankind, solving words in the thesaurus. I love the live events and the glorious athletic events and things in sport that God is ordaining, and I like to preach on those. And so last night I was going through the word beautiful. What else? The word breath, synonyms, the word breath, gulp of air, inspiration, things that divide by 3, and you can just keep going higher and higher and higher. It's all sitting in the palm of your hand for less than $20, $22.95, to see all the glory of God in your Oxford Canadian Thesaurus and solve it all for the number 3. And understand what your language is. English equals Jesus, equals Messiah, equals gospel, equals cross, equals the king, equals gematria, which is the science of what we are doing that God has ordained. That is to say, every letter equals a number, okay? And they all point to God. It's time for a revolution. It's time for a changing of our education system. The root of the word educate equals love. Okay, so I'm going to, on that note, I'm briefly probably going to go through the morning paper here and just see if there be anything else. The World Track and Field Championships has been amazing. Today is Monday the 31st of August. Yesterday was the 30th, the final day of competition. Divine. 30 came for 3. Sunday divides by 3. We preached on the fact that Jamaica equals gold, and they won both golds in 4x100 relay. Usain Bolt got his 3-peat again, and that will probably happen again for the Trinity's glory at Rio. The more you look, the more you see. It's simply up to you how long you want to spend in any given territory to find more and more 3s in the details of the names of the people and second and third place finishers. And you can combine and stack and do crazy stuff like that. I marvel at how God is blessing Canada in athletics. Vancouver Whitecaps, our Major League Soccer team in the West, is winning like crazy. The Toronto Blue Jays are winning like crazy. Our track and field athletes are winning like never before. The Pan Am Games were a massive success for Canada. So I like solving sports stuff. There's a lot of numbers in sports, and we had that word from God, the sacredness of sport. Oh look, discussion of BC Hydro because there was a power outage. Well, by Divine Ordinance, BC Hydro divides by 3. That's the main power supply company in this province. My father works for them. Why is it called BC Hydro? Well, because you know why, because BC Hydro divides by 3. Because God is 3 persons and he owns BC Hydro. It's not rocket science. You can find love in BC Hydro. Put a C together with an R plus the HY. There's your love. Then you have another 21 points on top. BC Hydro is 75. 15s. And then you can, if you want, you can expand it, say British Columbia Hydro. That divides by 3 as well, in 3 words. And BC Hydro, those words are littered everywhere, all over BC, on all the power boxes. BC Hydro, BC Hydro, BC Hydro. It's like, how more embarrassing is this going to get? How more embarrassing is this going to get? You can't walk down the street without having 4,000 threes poking you in the eyes. Unbelievable. I actually can't believe how dumb mankind is, apart from the grace of God. It's bad. Like, it's really bad. Let's just briefly whip through this paper. Why is it that a month has a maximum of 31 days? You know why, because 31 boils down to 3 in 3 steps to the glory of the Triune God. 31 is the 11th prime, 11 is the 5th prime, and 5 is the 3rd prime. Now you know why. It's August 31st today, and that's the highest number that you'll ever see on a month, is 31, to the glory of the Triune God. And yet we have less, I don't even want to start on the percentages of people that even understand that God is 3 persons. It's bad. Like, it's really bad. And how many years does God give us to seek Him and discover all this and pray to Him and find out the truth before we pass into His presence in eternal judgment? He gives us a lot of years. There's no excuse for the older generation. I'm telling you, the younger generation is going to wake up to the truth, and they're going to be extremely angry at their biological fathers. They were as clueless as hell. Oh look, a headline titled, "The Big Cleanup." Cleanup divides by 3, big divides by 3, the divides by 3. Talking about the big cleanup after a storm. They put a lot of trees down on power lines and turned out the power for 48 hours. Storm was BC Hydro's biggest disruption in nearly a decade. Well, now I'm preaching on BC Hydro to the glory of God. I can't even start to speak of how retarded the American political scene is. I won't even mention the names of the retards that are just competing for Gong Show right now. I marvel at how the lost world doesn't even know what the big story is. Sometimes I can't even read the paper because of how stupid the people are. And until you understand God's perspective on this story, it's completely dissatisfying. You're just like, I'm not getting an answer for why I'm here. This is just retarded human banter, mostly gossip. It's like children on the playground, huddling together saying, "Oh, don't hang out with that guy. He does this." When are we going to graduate? When are we going to spread the knowledge of God? When are we going to be idiots no more? That should be the new slogan of humanity. Idiots no more. It's time we educated ourselves regarding God. Seems the only thing people know how to do is compete for toys. Retarded behavior. Well, well, well. Mount McKinley in the United States to be officially named Denali. Well, well, well. The name is king, isn't it? Because the name is the number. Well, all I know is that Denali divides by 3 beautifully. And on and on the glory pile comes. So Denali would then add to 15 plus 21, 36 plus 9, 45, pure 9s. Fancy that. So Alaska, and it's in Alaska which divides by 3. We've solved mountains already. Mount Fuji, Mount Everest, and Mount Baker, where I live, all divided by 3. Alaska's Mount McKinley at 20,320 feet, the highest mountain in North America, has been called by its native name Denali in Alaska for years. So Alaska divides by 3. Alaska equals 45 equals Denali. Folks, I'm telling you, everything is happening for God's glory. God even uses the godless to glorify himself. There's very many famous verses in the scripture of people that were godless. Remember the high priest in the trial of Jesus, where the book of Acts and the Gospels actually record, the Gospels, not the book of Acts, record saying, this he spoke not on his own authority, but God ordained it to be so. So look at this. It's in Alaska. Well, Alaska equals 45. Denali equals 45. It's been called Denali for years, but now apparently the U.S. government is making it official. Fancy that. Denali equals 45. Alaska equals 45. That's the name of a giant mountain. You would die if we left you up there. You would die if we put you underneath that mountain. Well, that mountain is just one tiny artifact in the story of God that has a name that is now being changed to a number that is perfect for the Trinity. A triple of 15s. It equals Alaska. Now understand the story behind it so you can understand how God works, and that he even uses the godless to make things happen. Scary stuff, but listen. U.S. President Barack Obama will change the name of North America's tallest mountain peak from Mount McKinley to Denali. The White House said Sunday. Sunday was the 30th. Yesterday. Sunday divides by 3. 30 divides by 3. Bestowing the traditional Alaska Native name on the eve of historic president by renaming the peak Denali, an Athabascan word meaning the high one. The high one divides by 3 in 3 words. That adds 2. 27 plus 15, 42, 51, 66, 99. There it is, before your very eyes. The high one equals 99 in 3 letters. That's what it means. Denali means the high one. Obama is wading into a sensitive and decades-old conflict between residents of Alaska and Ohio. Alaskans have informally called the 20,320-foot mountain Denali for years, but the federal government recognizes its name invoking the 25th president, William McKinley, who was born in Ohio and assassinated early in his 2nd term. But he never visited Alaska. It's like, yeah, okay, let's call a mountain in Alaska after a president who lived his whole life in Ohio, or, just like didn't visit Alaska. It's like, right, it doesn't really make sense, does it? Now I'm just doing the math on William McKinley. Yep, William McKinley divides by 3. Go to the root, you'll get the juice. So let's read here. With our own sense of reverence for this place, we are officially renaming the mountain Denali in recognition of the traditions of Alaska natives. Natives divides by 3. So Alaska natives divides by 3. And the strong support of the people of Alaska. The people of Alaska, every word divides by 3. So apparently all this is happening on behalf of 2 threes, namely the Alaska natives and the people of Alaska. Every word divides by 3 to the glory of the Trinity. Are you getting this? Are you starting to get that you're in the story of God? God is 3 persons, and he takes the glory for every name of everything and everything in world history using numbers. Are you starting to finally have it sink in? So when you pick up the morning paper, it's actually a treasure hunt. It's a piece of excitement, saying what has God ordained in his story and in the names of everything. Oh look, a giant mountain. A giant mountain is being renamed. Even the word renames divides by 3. Name equals 33. Renamed equals 60. Equals word equals diamond. Equals holy equals pure. Equals pray equals believe. Mount McKinley to be officially renamed Denali. It's the highest mountain in North America. Is this epic? This is not Mount Doom off your dumb Lord of the Rings video. This is God's story. As in God that could blow you away right now and send you to hell. Stupidity is reigning supreme right now, and it's miserable. People aren't happy because there's sin. Let's read on. So that quote was by Interior Secretary Sally Jewell. Sally divides by 3. In fact, Sally equals love. Or sorry, Sally equals Jehovah, pardon me. So, the announcement came as Obama prepared to depart early Monday on a 3-day visit to Alaska. Well, 3 days. becoming the first sitting president to travel north of the Arctic Circle. Okay. As part of his visit, Obama is attempting to show solidarity with Alaska Natives and plans to hold a roundtable session with a group of Alaska Natives. So I keep seeing Alaska Natives in this article. What does natives add to? 21, 63, 72, wow, 96. Yeah, it's stunning. So Alaska Natives there, therefore, is 45 plus 96 adds to 141, a triple of the 15th prime. Plan to hold with a group of Alaska Natives. Alaska Natives. Just after, and the initials AN and the 15. Just after arriving Monday in Anchorage. And Anchorage divides by 3. The state of Alaska has had a standing request to change the name dating back to 1975, when the legislature passed a resolution and then Governor Jay Hammond, J divides by 3, Hammond doesn't quite, but he's holding it together with stuff, made a request to the federal government, but those efforts and legislation in Congress have been stymied by members of Ohio's congressional delegation. Folks, in my strong opinion, this just highlights just how slow anything happens in government without God at the helm. You're just like, you gotta be kidding me. It took us like decades just to change the name of a mountain? I'm sorry, okay? God is sovereign, relax. But I do pray for like a real righteous monarchy to come to this planet at some point with swift change. The peak got its officially recognized name in 1898 when a prospector was exploring mountains in central Alaska. Upon hearing the news that McKinley, a Republican, had received his party's nomination to be president, the prospector named it after him and the name was formally recognized. I'd be curious to know what that prospector's name was, and you get more juice on the story of God. Of course, you measure a mountain's height at its tallest peak. Well, the word peak divides by 3 equals 33. So peak equals 33 and name equals 33. And I'm going to plug in this video camera because the battery is getting low. Don't go away. I'm just going to plug it in quickly and we'll be back on track. Okay. There, we're now in. We're plugged in, so technically we can go forever. Or until the power goes out, and BC Hydro, which divides by 3, will have to help us. So there you go. That is a huge gem. The highest mountain in North America is now known as Denali. Denali equals 45, a triple of 15s. Alaska equals 45, the same number. By the way, Adam plus Eve equals 45, a triple of 15s. And there's a very famous man in the Bible whose name is Moses, which in Hebrew, I'll take you into Hebrew land now. Hebrew, Moshe, is 345, 345, a 300 plus 45. So it's pure threes to the glory of the Trinity. And the three-glyph root for the word name in Hebrew, speaking of how it's all about the name, is Shema. Okay, the word for name in Hebrew is Shem, 2 glyphs, but the deeper three-glyph root is Shema. 300 plus 40 plus 5, that's 345 perfectly. Shema, that's 3 times 115. It's an obvious 3. But that is Moses' name, Moshe. Okay, just another famous 45. And I'm just wanting to center this camera as much as possible because I like centrality. So that's a slightly big gem. I mean, this mountain is kind of big. It's a lot bigger than you are. And God is a lot bigger than this mountain is. And Jesus is one of the 3 members of the Godhead, as is the Holy Ghost and God the Father. So if you in any way continue to ignore Jesus and continue to keep him out of the school system and continue to withhold him from the children and continue to walk in darkness as a political leader and continue to reject the word of Jesus Christ and the Holy Bible in any position of influence, power, or leadership on this planet, you are going to be ousted from your place. And if you're not careful, you might just breathe your last and go to the fires of hell and be there forever and ever and ever. Because it's what we call a big deal if you reject the living God. Maybe we need to put you on the top of this mountain in the chilling snow for 12 hours to remind you just how small and frail you are compared to God. You will either go to heaven or go to hell. And you cannot mistreat people on this planet. Leaders of the world. Every person is made in the image of God. If we for 1 second deny the children the truth of the gospel, and we're not giving the Bible to the kids in the schools, and we're not seeking God for ourselves, and we're not confessing His name on our lips, then we are destined for fire. It's that simple. That's a huge gem. Okay. Anything else in this paper? I'm already overwhelmed by that. That's a huge gem. Okay. Now, sometimes it is the full name that divides by 3, like Mount Baker, where I live, the most visible mountain. Mount Fuji, very famous in Asia. Mount Everest, the most famous of all, the highest of all. Mount Everest divides by 3, and then if you say Mountain Everest or Everest Mountain, the AIN just adds 24AAA to what you already had, so you get more 3s. Okay, so obviously you can easily travel. I've already done this. I've solved famous mountains all over the world. Grade 3 children can do the math. But here's a real dramatic one, just happening in current events. And it's all about the name. So, in case you're wondering, yes, you are allowed to rename yourself if you want. If you want to rename yourself, to have love as your middle name, change your 2 middle names to love Jehovah, the greatest commandment. Both divide by 3. Why not? Go to the government. Go to the... take whatever steps you want. Get a name change to the glory of God. Change your 2 middle names to be Love Jehovah. Derek, Love Jehovah, Kubi. Whatever. The name. God takes the glory for all things using the name. Okay. A lot of talk these days about LNG. Well, that's because LNG is 3 times 3 times 3. Oil. Gas, both words divided by 3 and 3 letters. LNG, LNG, LNG. As I just look at this article on LNG, I see like at least 6 instances of LNG in all capital letters staring me in the eyeballs. In fact, it's exactly 6. LNG, LNG, LNG. 27, 27, 27. Oil, gas, oil, gas. Gas equals 27 equals LNG. And then oil contains 27 plus another 9 on top of that, 999. LNG, 999. Gas, 999. Oil, 999 plus 9, quadruple 9. LNG, gas, LNG, oil, LNG, gas, oil. Because God is 3 persons, and the story belongs to Him, and He owns LNG, and He owns all gas, and He owns all oil, and He owns all energy. Energy equals Jesus, equals Messiah, equals gospel, equals cross, equals the King, equals preacher, equals aurora, equals element. So Jesus takes the glory for the northern lights and the southern lights, because they're actually called the aurora borealis and the aurora australis. Aurora equals Jesus. Done. I cannot believe the state of the world in which I live regarding our knowledge of God. And I cannot believe that this is actually being revealed to me. And now it can be taught to grade 3 children. This is shocking beyond reason. I don't know what the future holds. I can only assume God has a brilliant plan to pull the darkened people out of darkness, because it's bad. Like, once you're awakened, you're like, it's bad. It's real bad. And embarrassing. I mean, just look at these people's faces. I'm just picking a sample photo of a bunch of people with faces that seem to have some kind of clue, but really they have no clue. They have no clue who God is. They have no clue why they're here. At age 60, 50, whatever they are. It's embarrassing if you don't seek the living God. If you don't ask for God to show up, if you don't ask for understanding, He won't give it to you. You were born a baby knowing nothing. If you don't seek God, you probably won't find Him. Shocking. Shocking. Shocking beyond reason. Nestle divides by 3. Okay. I'm going for big gems here, like obvious stories. An article about UBC. Well, university equals love plus love plus love. thank God Trinity won their law case. No, there's a leadership crisis. Well, that was a huge gem. Denali equals Alaska. A mountain. A giant mountain that has one number, 45, triple 15. So did you get the story though? Did you get the story on who renamed it and how many years this whole renaming thing was like in the works? But it's been on the lips of men for decades. But understand that a man named Barack Obama, okay, who is not even a Christian, as far as we can all tell, God used him and many other non-Christians, obviously, in this story to rename this mountain in the history books. Isn't that amazing to you? It's like even the godless are being used by God to glorify himself. It's a very creepy thought, but not at all surprising. It's like God is God. It all belongs to him. If someone denies God, he'll just take him. He's in control anyways. Okay. That's my favorite gem so far in this paper. What else are we going to find? The sports section. Sports section is becoming, and is one of my favorite, just because there's lots of numbers. Oh look, here's number 27 on the cover. 3 times 3 times 3. Da, da, da. I'm very conscious that what even comes into my eyes. Soccer no last, which twice by 3. Sports is really easy. It's +1 front and back with all the 3s in the center. Or anyways, let's look for specific stories. I've preached on this before. Vancouver Whitecaps are just screaming in their success, and their logo is the most 3-stamp thing of all time. So you talk about mountains, that is the symbol of the Whitecaps. By Divine Ordinance, the word mountain and whitecap have the same offset for the number 3. So, how fitting. Here we see a real mountain with lots of triangles on it. You know, I even see kind of a threesome there. Denali, that's what you call a mountain. Well, the word whitecap has the same offset as the word mountain. And so we have a soccer team in Vancouver called the Vancouver Whitecaps, whose logo is 3 whitecaps or 3 mountains. So you can solve everything. By Divine Ordinance, they're doing exceptionally well in Major League Soccer. 3 words that divide by 3, so that they keep cropping up on the front page of the newspaper that I deliver, so I take notice and I'm solving the Vancouver Whitecaps. No less, they typically play at BC Place Stadium, which divides by 3. Incidentally, if you go to the Vancouver Whitecaps FC YouTube channel and sort by the number of hits per YouTube video, watch the video near the top with an amazing header by a man whose full birth name is Triple Love exactly. It'll shock your mind how amazing a head ball it is. The cross is like from so far out. Anyways, I love specific gems that are just mind-blowing. Oh look, it's the Seahawks. Seahawks divides by 3. I'm just checking the big headlines. There's obviously a ton of juice if you just want to linger. I'm particularly attracted to the World Track and Field Championships. So now we have the Province newspaper. When I deliver these, it's either the Province or the Sun. That's just how you refer to them. Every word divides by 3. So we'll just briefly go to the Province. I like the Vancouver Sun better. Oh look, the number 27 is on the cover. It's like the only word, anyways. Clean up, everybody, everywhere. Can you find love and clean up? Yep, Clean up equals love plus 18, pure nines. That's what happened this past 48 hours. A lot of trees and branches down over power lines and across roads. Clean up equals 72, a triple of triple eights. Clean up, everybody, everywhere, to the glory of the Triune God. Might as well be singing to Him while you clean up. Might as well be thanking Him while you clean up, because you could die if a tree fell on you right now, and then you'd be standing in front of His face. And you'll either go to heaven or hell if you've confessed Jesus Christ as God or not. Clean up, everybody, everywhere. Our schools don't know Jesus Christ, and that's a tragedy. Seems to me that all kids are being programmed to do these days in our schools is do a good job. Taking orders from someone that, is godless and seems to be stronger or seems to have more money. Just do as you're told and do a good job. Don't ask silly questions about God and why you're here. Enough of this nonsense. Kids know more than we think they do. And they're capable of knowing more than we've treated them like. Oh look, it's a plane. It's a bird, it's a plane. Both words divided by 3. Oh look, it's a retarded politician that doesn't even know Jesus, and people are listening to him. I don't know what to say. I marvel at how much glory the Bible has and the thesaurus has in such a small package. I mean, you can find all these words in the province, but I mean, disturbingly, God gave me a list of celebrity names the other day that are not Christian, that all divide by 3. And one of them on that list was Kanye West, who adds to 1, 2, 3 perfectly. So I trust that God has a plan of salvation for him. Tom Cruise equals 1, 2, 3. And if you haven't watched that video, watch it. I can only trust and believe that God has a plan of salvation for these godless people. Do you watch TV? TV divides by 3. You can solve every channel there is. And every news station. CTV is one of the biggest here in where I am. CTV adds to 45. Speaking of famous 45s this morning. Typically I don't read the driving section because it's basically ads. So in the sports stats section they should have some highlights. Oh my goodness, they don't even have highlights from the World Track and Field Championships? Shame on this. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, maybe it's on the previous page. Yeah, must be. Or not. Well, I'll have to dig in myself. Okay, here's a small article on DROUIN. Here's another famous name, Dixon. I mean, there's a lot of Dixons in the story of God, but it's just a real obvious one, because the bookends divide by 3, and then every center letter divides by 3. Dixon, really obvious. 9, 15, 18, 24. That's 24 plus 24 plus 18 is 66. Happy, blessed. So Dixon wins 4th Indy car title. Sonoma Raceway divides by 3. I'm just solving what's written on his hat. And then a Grand Prix divides by 3. Okay, that's all I'm going to, preach on that one. DROUIN caps record week by jumping for gold. Oh, I already read this article. So more details on this DROUIN high jump story. He's 25 years old, which is the square of the third prime. Third prime times third prime. Canada got 8 medals overall. 8 is just too obvious to be denied. Talked about Jesus equals 8 at 8. So they call it a rare jump off. Every word divides by 3. I'm curious about the 3 men now. Now, what would be a very curious follow-up analysis is to solve the 3 names of the men that were the final 3 men in the jump off, and you get more glory for the Trinity. Like I'm just looking at their last names at the beginning. You could knit to the 3 of them together. So DROUIN was the only one to clear 234 in the jump off, getting him the gold. So they call him Sang, H. Interesting. And there was no bronze medal thus awarded. That's another interesting 3 fest there. So Canada, so the World Championships are over. Canada got 3 silvers from Damien Warner, Brianne Thiessen-Eaton, and Melissa Bishop. We solved all of their names. And they got 3 bronzes from Andre de Grasse, the 4x100 relay, and Ben Thorne. That's cool. Okay. Onward we press here. Let's check a couple final pages. And I've just about had enough. I prefer to be in the thesaurus at this point, or just being controlled now. Okay. And here they are again. Like it's just, I would be surprised. So Vancouver Whitecaps are always on like the front page. You know. Shield of Dreams, even the headline divides by 3. So you know the famous line, the Field of Dreams? Every word divides by 3. And I actually had that word running through my mind the other day. Only dreams, God was saying to me. As in like, make sure you're living that, which is a dream. 24 plus, so dreams once again is 36 plus 24, 60. There you go. So this front page headline, so Vancouver Whitecaps, we preached on that obvious 3, but then the headline by Divine Ordinance is Shield of Dreams. The Dreams is 60. Shield is 36 plus 21 is 57. Wow. So 57, 72, 78 plus 60. It's 138 for Shield of Dreams. There you go. And not Riviero and Takara, tapered. There you go. And of course, there's 3 of them on the cover. 3 Vancouver Whitecaps. So the 3s keep coming. And what does MLS stand for? Oh, Major League Soccer. Every word divides by 3. It's a treasure hunt, folks, and there's 3 stars. 1, 2, 3. MLS, Major League Soccer. Yay! MLS adds to 44, which glorifies the number 3, because 44, when you speak, it divides by 3. It divides by 11. We solved Adidas. We solved Takara, and 13, and all those guys. Cool. But far and away, my favorite gem from this morning's paper, The Sun in the Province. Well, DROUIN with the high jump. That's my favorite, because that's an actual thrilling performance from a Canadian. It takes a lot of effort, years in the making. But this mountain in Alaska being renamed Denali, Alaska equals Denali equals 45. Genius. DROUIN equals love plus half love. Glory to God. Glory to God. And, this was the Sun edition of this. Oh, I was looking at the sports section from No wonder I didn't see stuff from track and field. So this is the sports section from today. So that was the one from yesterday that I looked through. Yeah, there's a lot on the Jays. Yeah, the Whitecaps are a pretty good looking team. White plus blue. The color combination is 105. Yeah, there. See, that's that's what we were supposed to find. Oh look, it's Taylor Swift. We solved her the other day. So here's what we were supposed to see. There it is. DROUIN caps record week at Worlds by jumping for gold. So there it is. DROUIN equals love plus half love. That's why it happened. And track and field equals love plus love. There he is. Canada, 24,888. Wow. Corunna, Ontario. That's where he was born. Corunna starts with 4 letters that divide by 3. I wouldn't be surprised. Is that knit together with Ontario? Not quite. Derek DROUIN celebrates winning the gold medal in the men's. What would that? So if you add 43 for Derek to that 81, that will bump you up to, excuse me, folks, 124. A double of a double of 31. Which qualifies 3. Celebrates winning the gold medal in the men's high jump final Sunday at the World Championships, and then victory lap divides by 3.